Hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Captain Lou Extravaganza, live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube and, of course, on our Facebook page, which is the Captain Lou Extravaganza. And as always, you can catch us live on our Twitter handle, or X, I should say. I don't know if I'm ever going to really not call it Twitter. X, at The Real Captain Lou. You can see our shorts as well on Instagram at Louis Gamble. We're everywhere on social media as we dive in. We're finishing our first week at our new time, although we will have some more extravaganzas with Mitch and I at 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights. But we're going to be 3 days a week, 11 o'clock in the morning. We're going to start having some guests here in the next couple of weeks, kind of working the bugs out as we get back full time here in the mornings. We'll be live next week, Monday and Wednesday. Friday, I will be off, but then the following week, we'll be back with our daily routines on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So right here, 11 o'clock Eastern time on the Captain Lou Sports Network. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can get all of our great programming, all of our extravaganza episodes. We'll still sprinkle in some extravagant few minutes episodes on the weekends, perhaps when it warrants. With the Masters coming up this weekend, we'll have an update maybe. We'll get you some betting odds, whatever you want to talk about on that. The Stanley Cup, we'll get you up to date this weekend. Sunday, we'll do a little extravagant few minutes episode with the updated Stanley Cup standings with our Red Wings. They've got a big game on Saturday. So we got all that going on. Of course, you can watch all of our archived ACHA Power Play episodes. Season 10 in the books. What a great season it was for the ACHA, culminating with the national championships. Great interviews with the winning coaches and whatnot. So all kinds of things going on with that. And so, again, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Captain Lou Sports Network. You get all of that great program. We're going to have great guests lined up through the summer. We're going to start talking a little more about the NFL draft. That's coming up here very soon. We'll give you a mock draft next week, or either that or a week from Monday. We're putting that together. We're going to start getting some football guests on the line. The NFL draft is coming around the corner. Can you believe it? It's 2 weeks from now. We'll be in the second round of the NFL draft. So we got a lot to go over. And so we want to just kind of banter back and forth with you on that right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Hey, a reminder that today's show, as always, is brought to you by the official secondary market of the Captain Lou Sports Network. And that, of course, is SeatGeek. Use the promo code Captain Lou, and you'll get $20 off of your purchase. It is that simple. As there's a game you want to go to. The Tigers are in town this weekend against the Marlins, coming up there. They've lost 5 straight. They're in the bottom of the AL Central, but hey, it's early. It's always a great time to go to the ballpark, and you can go to SeatGeek, get some good prices on tickets, and also use the promo code Captain Lou. You get $20 off of your purchase. Any major league game you want to go to, just go to SeatGeek. The Frozen Four in Vegas. The championship game is set. Denver and Wisconsin. You want to go to that if you're in Vegas this weekend, go to SeatGeek. Use the promo code Captain Lou. It'll set you up. The Stanley Cup playoff drive, NBA playoffs starting to take shape next week. They'll start their playoffs a week from this weekend. So all that going on. If you want to go to one of those games, go to SeatGeek, the official secondary market of the Captain Lou Sports Network, and they'll take $20 off of your purchase. It is that simple. All right. So let's go to the Masters. Why don't we start out with that as Rory McIlroy and Sam Burns. They're on top right now at 5 under par. Let's see if we can get you a quick update on the leaderboard here. Let's take a quick peek, see if that's changed at all. Now it's Sam Burns and Rory McIlroy still on top at 5 under apiece. Wyndham Clark, he got it up to 3 under. Now he's back to 2 under as he bogeyed a hole. And Scotty Scheffler is still 2 under. He's even through 2 as he's teed off on that. So if you're looking for updated odds on to win the whole thing, Scotty Scheffler is still plus 290, and I believe Rory McIlroy is plus 260 to win it outright. Those are the top 2. Sam Burns, I think, is like plus 1,500. So I don't know if that's worth betting a buck or two on it, but we're not going to really put a whole lot of odds on it now because they change so much. By the time you may watch this, the archive show, it's going to change on all the the betting apps. But it was an interesting game, interesting day yesterday. Rory McIlroy looking very strong. For a while there, I thought he was going to get to 7 or 8 under, but he parred the last couple of holes to keep it at 5 under par, and he's leading with Sam Burns, as I mentioned. It's going to be very, very interesting in the next few days. The weather is going to be pristine for the patrons, if you will. There's going to be no rain for the whole weekend, and the temperature is going to elevate Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be 85 to 90. The wind's going to shift. It's going to go out of the southeast towards the end of the weekend. The greens are going to get rock hard if they already aren't. They're soft, but they're fast. And you know that the leadership at the Masters, they're going to be meeting tonight. Let's just say if Rory gets up to -8 or -9 or whoever shoots a 66, one of the top 10 to get into -8, -9 territory going into the weekend, you know that they're going to make it even that much more difficult, as they don't want to see a 16 under par winner or someone at 14 under going into Sunday. They want to try to make it so it stays right around that. The winner gets like right around -278. The over-under was to win the whole thing. I had it. I went under at -274.5. That might be reaching right now. I don't know. I that's a lot to ask if the weather stays the way it is, because they're going to make these greens so hard, so difficult to maneuver. And even the par fives, we saw some of them. What was it? McIntyre was on in 2 putting for eagle on one of them, and he putted right off the green. So it's brutal, but that's what the Masters is all about. The greens, they're fair, but they're tough. And obviously you still got to hit it straight. One that I'm going to keep an eye on later on is Bryson DeChambeau. I did take a bet on him to go under par to try to make it so he could stay and play on the weekend. He's at +4, I believe, right now. And the over-under on him today was 71.5 at -106. So I took that bet just for kicks and giggles to see, whatever. I was 1-2 yesterday. I did a couple of other side bets after we got off the air yesterday. Xander Schauffele to get at under 11.5 pars on his round. I got that. I did the same thing with Scotty Scheffler. And goodness, I think he had 16 pars or 15 pars or something like that. So I got that one wrong. And of course, I took what did I take? The score after the score after the opening round yesterday. The leader would be at 7 under or below, and of course that wasn't it. So we'll get it back today though. 1-2 going into today. A bunch of other bets. We still have the cut line. We said yesterday on the show we took +3 to be the cut line. And right now that's what it is, but I'm not super confident on that. We'll see if I can update it real quick. It's still at +3, but boy, it's teetering right now on that. So we'll keep an eye on that through the afternoon. Not betting a lot, just enough to have some fun with it. So, anyways, if you're not doing anything, I know in the Michigan area right now it's a little gloomy outside. It's gonna clear up. The weather is conducive to grab a sandwich, sit on your couch or your favorite chair, watch some of the Masters this afternoon. I know they're on all these different streaming sites and whatnot where you can get Amen Corner, 4, 5, and 6, the feature groups, whatnot. That's what makes the Masters really special. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that throughout the afternoon. All right, let's switch gears right now to the Red Wings. Big win yesterday for the Red Wings over the Flyers, 6-2. Still alive on this Friday. They've got 3 games left. They're still 3 points behind Ottawa, who won yesterday in grand fashion. 5 points behind Boston. Now, I know it might be a pipe dream to catch Boston, and I know Detroit still has to win out. Larkin had a hat trick yesterday. DeBrincat got his 40th goal. He's the first 40-goal scorer for the Red Wings since Marian Hossa back in 2008, 2009. So it's been 17 years since the Red Wings have had a 40-goal score. So right now, let's take a look. Here's the scenario right now for the Red Wings. They're at 91 points. They've got 30 regulation wins. Ottawa, they've got the tie break. They're at 94 points with 36 regulation wins. Boston, they're the number 1 wild card. They're at 96 points with 31 regulation wins. So here's the scenario. Boston, all they got to do is win 1 more game, and they're in. But they've lost 4 straight. All these teams have 3 games left. All right, they're at 79 games, 3 games remaining. Ottawa's at 94 points. All they've got to do really is get 3 more points, and they'll win the tiebreak over the Red Wings. Detroit at 91 points, 30 regulation wins. So Detroit's got to win out. They've got to still win the last 3, and they've got to hope Ottawa goes 1-2. Or, I know this is far-fetched, Boston to keep the slide going and only get 1 more point. Detroit, if that scenario would hold out, would win the tiebreak because they would have more regulation wins over Boston. So still an opportunity for Detroit, but they got to win out first and foremost, as they've got the Devils in the regular season home finale tomorrow night on Saturday. Then they go to Florida to take on Tampa first on Monday, and then the Florida Panthers in the season finale on Wednesday. Still, I know it's a long shot, but there's still hope for the Red Wings. We'll see if they make it through the weekend and have an opportunity to play for a playoff spot down in Florida on Monday and Wednesday. We'll take a quick look at the NHL standings. We talked about it. Buffalo leading the division, leading the Atlantic with 106 points. They got a 2-point lead over Montreal, although Montreal and Tampa both have a game in hand on the Sabres. Montreal is 2 points behind at 104, Tampa at 102. And in the Metropolitan, Carolina, they're at 108 right now. They've got a 10-point lead over Pittsburgh, and they've got a 16-point lead over the Flyers. The Flyers, they haven't clinched a playoff spot yet. It's going to get real interesting with them, because if you look at the division standings right now, let's see if I can do this. Okay. When the division standings, they've only got a 1-point lead over the Islanders and 2 points over the Columbus Blue Jackets still. And regulation wins, the Islanders have the tie break there. So things could change in the Metropolitan. In the West, Colorado Avalanche, congratulations to them. They've clinched the President's Cup trophy. They're sitting at 114 points right now. They're 8 points ahead of the Dallas Stars, and the Minnesota Wild are at 102. Looks like they are in the playoffs. And the Utah Mammoth, congratulations to them. They've got a playoff spot clinched with 90 points. They're going to get either the number 1 or the number 2 wild card seed. In the Pacific, it's still up for grabs. Edmonton right now has a 1-point lead over Vegas and also the Anaheim Ducks. If you look at that scenario, Edmonton's got the tiebreak scenario with 31 regulation wins, as the Vegas Golden Knights are at 28 and Anaheim at 25. Then you've got the Kings at 85 points, hanging on for dear life for a wild card spot right now. So still a lot to play for in the Western Conference. It's going to be cool to watch that coming up towards next week, when the end of the regular season, I believe, is on Wednesday. So the wild card right now, Utah, they've got the top spot. The Kings right now are the second wild card team. They got a 1-point lead over Nashville, and they've got a 3-point lead over Winnipeg. Winnipeg has a game in hand on these guys. So if Winnipeg can win, they would be tied with the Predators, and they would have the tiebreak. Both of them have the tiebreak over the Kings, because the Kings only have 20 regulation wins. So if you got all that, I'm sure you don't, but we'll have to wait. We'll keep an eye on that again throughout the week. All right, while we're talking playoffs, let's go to the NBA. Now, we don't talk a lot about the NBA, but I find this very interesting. The Pistons right now are the number 1 seed in the East, and they've got the worst odds to make it through to the NBA Finals. They're at plus 500. I believe the Celtics are number 1, the Knicks number 2, and the Cavs right now are at plus 380 as the 3 seed to get out, or the 4. They're the 4 seed to get out of the East. So Detroit right now not getting love with the bookmakers, as they've got the worst odds to get out of the East to get to the NBA Finals. Cleveland, by the way, is resting 3 starters tonight as they're trying to jockey for position. They don't want to face either New York or Boston for a potential second-round matchup in the NBA playoffs. Be careful what you wish for. I'll tell you what, Cleveland is no lock to get out of the East, out of the first round, as they'll probably play the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta's playing some great basketball. But that 4 through 9, the 5 through 9 is really kind of amazing, because they could all those teams could end up in a play-in game scenario. But I find it very interesting that the Pistons, I know they don't have the pedigree right now. They lost in the opening round of the playoffs last year against the Knicks. But I find it very interesting that the Pistons have the worst odds to get out of the East out of all 4 of the teams, the Cavs, the Knicks, and the Celtics. The Celtics the Cavaliers have James Harden and Donovan Mitchell. They're like Casper the Ghost when the playoffs come around. I don't know how the odds makers are trusting Cleveland over Detroit. Detroit's going to have Beef Stew back, Cade Cunningham's back, Duran's playing amazing. I would gladly take Detroit over Cleveland in any 7-game scenario and over the Knicks. Boston, yeah, they're going to be a tough out. So I think it's going to come down to Boston and Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's going to be fun to watch down the road. I just, again, found that very fascinating coming into today with the odds for the playoffs. All right, the Tigers. Let's get to the Tigers, shall we? The Tigers have lost 5 straight right now and find themselves on the bottom or in the bottom of the AL Central at a 4-9 record. Is it panic time yet? I don't know, quite panic time yet, but it's quite troubling again, back to their old ways. I saw a stat yesterday, and if you include the game last night or yesterday afternoon, in the last 83 games, Detroit is 32-51 since the All-Star break. Detroit is 32-51. Now, they had a hot streak to start the year, and obviously we all know about the collapse last year in Major League Baseball for the Tigers. They blew that big lead and ended up having to be a wild card team. They did win the opening round against Cleveland, but of course they lost in that 5-game series to Seattle, who, by the way, right now are the worst team in the American League. I think they're batting like 184 or something ridiculous. But I look at the Tigers, and again, the troubling signs, of course, to the hitting. The pitching, I think, will solve itself out. I know Valdez got rocked the other day, and I know Skubal gave up 5 runs in the 4th inning. I get all that, but I'm not so worried about the pitching. The hitting, of course, I'm worried about. Riley Green right now for the Tigers is on pace to strike out 248 times. And you've got some of the other ones, the usual suspects. Spencer Torkelson, he's on pace to strike out 200 times. It kind of scares me. I'm just kind of looking at the team stats right now. Let's see if I can bring them up. Yeah, it is very troubling if you're a Tigers fan. Javier Baez is starting to wake up at the plate. That's a good sign. He'll probably be playing shortstop for a while. We've got Kevin McConaughey still hitting. He's batting at 286. He's cooled off a little bit. Colt Keith is playing all right. The other troubling thing, the Tigers only have 7 home runs in 13 games, not hitting for power at all. And in an age where, the long ball is revered more than playing small ball, and Detroit's only got 7 home runs, that's kind of troubling me a little bit. I don't want to hear about the weather. The weather's been okay. They've only really played a couple of cold weather games. They started out west in the warmth. And so that's kind of troubling with me. Detroit's batting average, 233, kind of middle of the pack, which is kind of scary. Their on-base percentage at 324. Again, amazing. You got I look at some of the players right now. Gleyber Torres, he's got 1 home run. He's batting 234. Riley Green, batting 200. Kerry Carpenter is on pace to strike out 235 times. It's just, those are troubling facts to me. You got him, Torkelson, Riley Green, again, on pace to strike out over 200 times. It's something that I still got to come to grips with when it comes to Major League Baseball right now. But the Tigers, again, they're at 4-9, last place in the AL Central. They've got the Miami Marlins coming to town. Normally, I would say that's a recipe to try to get well. But the Marlins, I know it's early, but the Marlins are leading the National League East with a record of 8-5. Montero's going to go up against Paddock. Remember Chris Paddock, don't we? He's coming back to Detroit. So Montero takes the bump for Detroit tonight as they look to try to right the ship and get back to their winning ways. Still, I think, plenty early. All right, we're going to wrap things up here this afternoon or this morning, whatever you want to call it. We're going to talk about the Frozen Four. If you're a hockey fan like I am, college hockey at its finest convened yesterday in Las Vegas for the Final Four, or for the Frozen Four, excuse me. And they had 2 great games yesterday. It opened up with North Dakota and Wisconsin. North Dakota with 8 championships all time. Wisconsin with 6. That was a barn burner. Wisconsin with some stellar goaltending outlasted North Dakota by the score of 2-1. A great game to set up an even better matchup with Denver and Michigan. Denver with 10 national championships. Michigan with 9. 60 minutes weren't enough to decide that one. They went into double overtime. Anderson got the game-winning goal. They win 4-3 in double overtime. And an interesting stat, Denver is 16-0-1. They made the goalie change since January, I think 16th or 23rd, whatever. 16-0-1. Michigan had a couple of late leads. They had a couple of leads yesterday. They went up 2-1. They got the goal on the power play to go up 3-2 in the third period. But Denver got a goal with 2.5 minutes to go in regulation time to tie it up. They went through overtime, and then Anderson got that game winner about halfway through the second overtime. So it's going to be Denver and Wisconsin tomorrow night for the Frozen Four National Championship, NCAA Men's Division I. Denver looking for their 11th championship. Wisconsin looking for their 7th. Congratulations to them. What a great Thursday night of hockey in the NCAA Men's Division I Championships at the Frozen Four. North Dakota losing to Wisconsin 2-1. Great matchup there. And, of course, Denver with that thrilling double overtime win over Michigan, 4-3. Denver and Wisconsin going for all the marbles tomorrow night, 5:30 on ESPN. That's going to be one heck of a matchup to watch in the Frozen Four. All right, well, that's going to do it here for this extravaganza. I want to thank everybody for taking time out to welcome us into your homes on your computers, your laptops, your iPhones, however you watch us around the world right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. We'll be back again Monday at 11 o'clock, and we'll have a special and extravagant few minutes episode on Sunday morning to get you ready for the final round of the Masters. We'll get you up to date on the latest in the NHL with the standings, the playoff scenarios, and more. So make sure you tune in for that. That's going to be 10 o'clock Sunday morning right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Until then, Captain Lou saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long, everybody.